Good evening, everybody. You got myself, Brandon Deal. You got Brent Adams with Fastline Fast Track. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great.
Then we got our buddy Dusten Hoffman with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Dusten, how are you doing tonight?
Finer than frog's hair.
Well, I heard that entirely. You know, guys, we got tonight's going to be a cool. Tonight we got tonight's going to be a cool show. You know that?
I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Dusten, I got to ask you a question. What's wrong with that picture?
Chickens don't quack.
Okay, just checking. And by the way, we always have to, since they started cotton tonight, we might as well do this, or yesterday. Look, Kelly, we miss you, babe. We miss you.
Is she our field reporter?
She's our, well, I guess that's what you want to call her.
I wonder if she had any more problems with that stray dog.
Well, guys, you know, tonight our guest needs absolutely no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway. We all know who he is. We've heard his voice. He's the voice of Paramount Network, the CW, NBC Sports, CBS Sports, Fox Sports, Texas Rangers. You know, what are you doing? Tonight, our guest needs absolutely playing the video in the background.
Sure ain't me.
He's also the voice of the Texas Rangers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the PBR. All right. See.
Barley is the soul of Budweiser, and barley doesn't grow just anywhere. It comes from the heartland of America, a place where the land stretches to the sky, where our family of farmers have called home for 5 generations. Long before a Budweiser ever leaves our brewery, it's raised on this land.
Mark Ryder, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Man, every time I hear that commercial these days, I still get goosebumps.
Absolutely. Mark Ryder, of course, you met Brent Adams, Dusten Hoffman with Iowa Agribusiness Network. You've got Nicole and myself. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing excellent, man. Thank you very much for the invite to join the party. This is exciting. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I've never done a Facebook Live before.
Are you serious?
I swear, you know, it's so funny. Like you know, I'm on CBS Sports every Monday night at 6:00, but I've never been on Facebook.
Fresh meat.
Time for everything.
Yeah, so be easy with me, please. And people ask all the time. They're like, "So you just got done playing that Budweiser commercial that I had the honor to be the voice of the American farmer?" And people are like, "Yeah, but you don't sound like that." And I'm like, "Well, that's why we call it voice acting, because we're able to do different things with our voices and make them sound different, so that we can acquire the qualities of, in that case, a Sam Elliott-ish type character."
And you know, earlier it was funny because everybody didn't see it, but earlier when we were running the test on it, everybody, Brent and Nicole both tried to do barley. It's a whole lot harder. I tried it earlier today. It's a whole lot harder than it seems.
Yeah, you got to cook it first. You don't want to eat it raw. You don't want to eat it raw.
Now you do your Monday night. You do your Monday night football.
Yep.
How much time does it take to do those? Those are just cool shots that you do. How long does it take to do something like that?
Honestly, it probably takes. It depends on whether or not I'm in studio, like in New York, or whether or not I'm here at my home in Florida. There in New York, it takes hours and hours and hours and hours, because you've got like a crew full of people, and I'm literally doing my stuff in real time as the show is being recorded for broadcast. However, here at my house, my segments, I have like 3 segments per show, and they run about 45 seconds to maybe a minute and a half max. So, maybe an hour, if that or so. And honestly, like I go to bed on a Sunday night after watching a bunch of football, and it's really hard for me to fall asleep because I'm so amped to do what I'm going to do the next day.
Oh,
It's like it's for everybody that's watching out there, like whatever you're most passionate about, the worst thing to do is think about it right before bed, right?
by the way, Dustin, I have already gotten 2 text messages. People noticed you got a haircut.
Yeah, I did get a haircut. That's what happened on Thursday. Yeah, it was pretty bad on last Wednesday night, wasn't it?
How come nobody noticed mine?
Didn't you get a haircut too? You're just covering it with a hat?
Who?
You.
I never get a haircut. My hair stays the same year round. Now, Mark, how long have you been doing voiceovers?
About 15 years full time. Prior to that, I did about 20 some years of morning radio all around the country. People ask me all the time, they're like, how'd you get into it? Well, I did morning radio for a long time, and I've got 2 children, and I've been moving them around the country. By the time my 16-year-old turned 11, he'd lived in about 8 or 9 different homes, and it was tough. And so I had to make a choice. I'm like, God, how can I use the talents that you've given me in a different way? And honestly, I didn't even know that voiceover was a way that I could, really earn an income and be able to pay my bills and do stuff like that. And I had a friend of mine who was just starting in the industry as well. His name's Josh Goodman. And Josh is like, dude, you're great at this. Like, why wouldn't you pursue this? And I got to tell you, if you've ever had a friend in your life that smacked you in the face and steered you in the right direction to something that you just didn't even see was possible, this guy was my guy for that. And so, like, I'm forever grateful, because I think sometimes we all get we kind of put our blinders on, and we can't really see outside the box. And so he was the one that brought the idea of voiceover to me. And like I said, it started about 15 years ago.
And a lot of people don't realize that is a competitive field.
Well, that's because everybody has a microphone. Look, Dustin's got a microphone. Brent's got a microphone. I bet Nicole's just hiding hers.
Mine you can't see because it's dark in here.
No, I can see it.
My microphone is in my computer, but I was just muting myself as all of my children are being ushered out of the house with their father so that you don't hear them all in the background.
Now, I got to ask you, Mark, as someone who's done, when I did normal radio before I got into full-time farm broadcasting, I mean, I did a lot of voice characters for different ads and different ad campaigns. Is there a time of day that it's better for you to do your job or to do certain aspects of your job, or does your voice wear on or get different octaves by the end of the day like mine tends to do?
Well, what's funny is that when an agent calls me to book a gig, I always make sure to try and remember, like, okay, what was the read? Because there's certain reads that you can do better in the morning. Like that Budweiser spot was recorded probably at about 9:30 or 10 o'clock Eastern, because your voice is just naturally, bigger in the morning. And so, like, and by 3 or 4 in the afternoon, like if I get a booking for something that's really small, I'll push it to later on in the day because, truth be told, the money voice is earlier. And, I try not to do anything after I've been reading for 7 or 8 straight hours. The hardest part is narrating TV shows, and, because like an hour TV show could take 3 hours of reading time. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The stuff that I just did recently for Shark Week on Discovery, that 1 hour show took a little over 3 hours to record. And, by the time you're done with that, you literally have to take a break because you can't talk anymore.
And that's interesting because people didn't realize that when I would work in normal radio and I would produce commercials and they'd want something off the wall, they didn't realize that a 30-second commercial, which is nowhere near what you do for a 1-hour show, but to write it, to get it voiced right, to put all the sound effects with it when you're doing your own work, that's 2.5, 3 hours. People don't realize that that's what it takes to make a 30-second spot, or in your case, just to do the voiceover on a 1-hour spot. It's just, it's amazing how much work goes into the back end of it that people don't see.
Yeah.
No, and they don't realize it. Now you do Shark Weeks. Now that is like the Super Bowl of voiceover.
So I've done 2 Shark Week shows in the last 5 years, and what's funny is that when I booked my first one, I was just over the moon, and then I just figured, well, shit, I've done one. I'll probably book one next year. And then next year came and went, and I didn't book one. And then the next year came and went, and I didn't book one. And then the next year came and went, and it keeps going. And I waited 5 years in between my shows. And somebody asked me recently, they're like, well, how did you book that? And I'm like, well, because I auditioned a lot. Like you said, it's a very competitive industry, and there's a million people out there that all have voices and can all tell stories too. So it's a roll of the dice. It's luck of the draw, and sometimes it's who you know.
Oh, but you've done. Now I'm gonna tell you, your football stuff is cool.
Thank you.
But the Planters Peanuts, I like that. The Planters Peanuts. Now, when you were like your Planters Peanuts, do you have the video in front of you to time it, like as your voice goes in as the nuts hit? I'm like, did he sit and watch that video?
Did Brandon actually hear the words coming out of his mouth?
No, I don't think he did. No.
Okay. Because he was just talking about the nuts hitting my mouth. And
I caught it.
Yeah.
I caught it.
It's been a long week, guys.
This show, Brandon.
I understand that because yesterday I got a very prominent lawmaker discussing the COVID-19 relief package to say it's not the size of the package. And then all of a sudden I got text messages on my question on the press conference, and I had text messages coming in going, did he just say that?
Well, it's just like that one video where they were talking about the tennis balls and how the tennis balls had to be sanitized. That whoever wrote that script was just, there was no way anybody was going to be able to do that.
And so, Brandon, to go back and answer your question, everything's changed since COVID. Like I'm sure in all of your industries, everything's changed, right? When that commercial was recorded about 6 months ago, it was March. We were right in the beginning of everybody working from home. And like I vividly remember, we were on a call similar like this, where there was like 5 creatives, and that means people at ad agencies, and they're all directing me. And the studio's in New York, and they're in Washington, and we're all dialed in on this Zoom thing that nobody understands because it's brand new and fresh. And they're describing to me what's happening in this Planters commercial, where the deluxe mixed nuts are dropping down, and I need to sound distinguished and sexy while the nuts tumble down and make these sparkly sounds. And so a year ago, yes, I would have been probably in a studio, or I would have had the video playing exactly as it was happening so that I can hear the sounds and the music, but not this year. Not in the year of COVID.
Distinguished and sexy.
There are some.
I've gotten instructions on how to read stuff before in radio, but I have never gotten distinguished and sexy. How about you, Brent?
No, that's a first. I don't know if I could pull that off.
Of course, the things I've gotten the instructions for, nothing about either of those products says distinguished and sexy.
But you know what's not fair? Hang on a second. What's not fair is that for the majority of us out there, you did not see this commercial or hear it. So you have no idea what I'm talking about. So let me just play you just a you can't see the video, but at least you can hear it.
This plan is for the cravers, the crunchy, savory cravers. and the cravers that deserve something special. Planters Deluxe Mixed Nuts. Stay satisfied.
Stay satisfied. Were you able to hear that okay?
If I would have played that
Yeah.
on my outside speaker, my wife would have wanted to go to the grocery store and get some planters.
You've never wanted nuts more in your life. I'm glad you brought that
Sounds like
commercial up,
Brent's
Brandon. Thank you.
Now,
I'm curious to see how this is going to segue into your next question.
well, the next question I had, I'm not going to go there because it involves a horse.
Good night,
I will
everybody.
talk about my horse all day, every day. I love my horse.
You know, but honestly, when you got that horse, I was like, what in the world is he going to do with that horse? That is how big
my wife
is
said
he?
the same thing.
How big is he?
17.1 hands, a little over 2,000 pounds. She's a Percheron. She is a goddess. She's like a real life unicorn. I look out my window in the morning and I can't believe that's mine.
You know, when I saw you have to build to get on her with a saddle, and I saw what you did, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I had to
Y'all-
build. I literally had to build like a 5-step ramp because she's giant and I am not that flexible.
Jeans too tight, Mark? Can't get your leg up in the stirrup?
Yeah, no, I can't even get my leg over a bike seat anymore. So yeah, I had to, any excuse to bring out the nail gun and the tools. I built myself a large 5-step ramp. So now I go like this. She comes walking around and she stops and then she plays that game where she runs away. That fun horse catching game. But
Nicole likes that game, but she does it with a smaller horse.
I do. And my horse is gray, just like his, just about 2 hands shorter.
for those of you that don't know, the hands at home, that's about 8 inches shorter, right?
Yeah, each hand is 4 inches.
Yeah.
So they're measured at the back, not the head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I grew up riding horses in Chicago, and I know that's a strange place to grow up riding horses, but my mom's boyfriend had a couple growing up, and so I rode from like 6 to 16, and then I hadn't ridden a horse until a year ago, and I just all of a sudden out of nowhere decided I wanted to take riding lessons and learn how to do it again, and that was tough as a man, right? I'm going to listen to this little 19-year-old girl, and she's going to teach me how to ride a horse. I had to suck up my pride, and I just told her, I said, just treat me like any of your other 15-year-old girls. And she did, and she prepared me so much to the point where I felt confident enough to get a horse. And I was looking at normal horses. But then this one came along, and for people that don't know about Percherons, they're draft horses. They're actually heavier than Clydesdales. They're about the same size as Clydesdales, but they're heavier than Clydesdales. And they were basically like war horses back in France ages ago. They were part of the French cavalry, and at the advent of the steam engine and all that fun stuff and tanks. They were kind of retired to the farm fields and stuff like that. But if you put me on your horse, Nicole, that poor horse, it just doesn't look right because I'm a 6 foot tall, 250 pound guy, So I was like, listen, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go big.
I need a man's horse, right?
Yeah.
How did you knowing Florida quite well, how did you find a Percheron in Florida?
Well, she was a buggy puller in Fort Myers that was retired about 8 years ago. She was retired, and she just sort of became a pasture. What do they call those? A
Pasture
ornament.
Mm-hmm.
For about the last 7 years or so, and I have COVID to thank, because the woman who had to get rid of her just couldn't take care of her anymore because she'd lost her job, and so put her up for sale. And I promised this woman, I said, listen, I am going to promise you that I will love this horse until its very last breath. I promise you that. And I looked her in the eyes, and she's like, all right, at least I know that she's going to a good home. And I'm like, you have no idea.
Now, how does she do with the goats?
They've yet to meet. The goats are over there. The horses are over here. I see no reason for them to mingle. Does anyone in this panel think that it is a good idea to introduce the two of them?
Well, it depends.
no.
I mean, they are herd animals, so they would probably be.
Knowing the goats, as many of y'all don't know, because Mark has some cool goats. Which, by the way, nice coffee mug, Mark.
Thank you, sir. Living the goat life.
Tell everybody about your goats, because they are literally, the goats are cool, especially when they're in the Indy 500 around the swimming pool.
First, I just want to establish the rest of this talk as everybody understanding that we, my family and I, are the epitome of what real farmers call cityots. Okay? We live just outside the city of Jacksonville. I'm on about 4 acres. I wish I could have a hell of a lot more, but I can't afford it because everything costs too damn much here in Florida. So I'm limited with what I can do. And my horses take up a couple of the acres, and my wife, she comes to me, I can't remember when exactly, but she's like, do you remember that one time when we went to and this is how my wife talks. I hear that in my head like that. She said, do you remember that time when we went to that cheese festival and we talked to that woman about goat cheese and that someday we wanted to make our own? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, maybe now's the time. And so then I found myself on Craigslist searching for goats. And
goats are a gateway animal, Mark. You gotta be scared.
Yeah, and every I felt as if searching for goats on Craigslist that I was gonna the police were gonna show up or something.
Different there.
Yeah. And so anyway, a couple hours later, we found ourselves at a breeder, and we picked out a bunch of goats, and we brought them back. And the intention is to grow the flock and grow the herd, if you will. And we've got, like, when I say cityots, like literally we've got a male goat and 2 girl goats. That's it. We're starting small, My farm field consists of 2 planters that are 5 feet by 20 feet long. Okay. And I have so much.
Wait, just to interrupt you for a second. When you talk about planters, distinguished and sexy.
That's right. I'm sorry. When I talk about my garden, I can truly say that nothing grows ever.
Not even weeds?
No, the weeds grow prolifically.
You have a garden of weeds?
Yeah, pretty much.
What?
Come on, you guys know it's all about the soil, right?
Yeah.
It's not your fault, Mark. It's not.
Wait,
I have a 30 by 50 greenhouse that is completely empty, so I have no room to talk.
Well, now, here's what we need to do. Mark, I'll send you some cottonseed. You can plant cottonseed in your garden and see what it does.
Yeah, what's that going to lead to?
We want to see the picture of you picking cotton.
Now,
Sounds like another enterprise to go with your goat cheese.
Brandon, these are seeds that came from China a few months ago.
What?
Do what?
It's not one of those packets of seeds from China, right?
Oh gosh,
No, it's not a
start
pack.
that again.
Is that a thing? Did I miss that in the news? What did I miss?
People were just
China
getting
has
people were just getting random packages of seeds from China, and they
Yeah.
they were coming as Amazon orders or things like that, and
Or jewelry.
and the thing is, they would get. Sometimes they were thinking they were just being sent to so they could make fake sales on Amazon so they could build up their portfolio. But the thing is, USDA was like, wait a minute, what's going on? We got seeds coming over and we don't know what they are. So there was a whole mess there for a couple months about seeds.
Well, that's freaky. I mean, if you think about how many times the Chinese have tried to kill us so far, between trying to poison our dog food and with the paint on all the toys and all that fun stuff, I wouldn't put it past the fact that those seeds might be. Here I am starting some sort of horrible.
This message is not endorsed.
I know who the next Twitter victim's going to be.
Not to mention bats.
Hang on a second. I gotta say goodnight to my 6-year-old. Come here, Em. Say hi to everybody. This is Emerson.
Hello,
Hey,
Emerson.
Em, how are you doing, bud?
Are you ready for night nights? All right, give me a kiss. Mwah, love you. Good night, buddy.
Are you using my cup?
Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. Back to the regularly scheduled, distinguished, and sexy broadcast.
There's worse things that could happen, Mark.
It's so disconcerting to see a kid with so much hair next to his bald father.
Well, at least he didn't show up behind you and embarrass you.
Yeah.
I
have so much hair envy of that kid. You have no idea.
Yeah, Dusten, although now let me tell you, Dusten has topped everyone in this whole panel of people right here. Dusten has topped everyone with embarrassing videos with their children.
All right, I might as well tell you. So I'm on a Zoom call with the Secretary of Agriculture. And I do radio, I don't need the video aspect of it. So I just minimized the camera while I was recording the audio to get the next question on my bullet points pulled up on my laptop. And he stops mid-sentence, Secretary of Agriculture, and just starts laughing. And I'm kind of confused, and I goes, everything okay? And he goes, don't you have your camera up? I said, no. I said, I'm sorry, Secretary. I just minimized it to check my next question. He goes, pull it up. And I pull it up, and there I am interviewing the Secretary of Agriculture, and my 9-year-old son is behind me in his tighty whities with his Iron Man and his Captain America action figures doing ninja moves, running around and flopping around. And I'm just like, oh my God. In fact, I saw him a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago in Ankeny, and he asked me if my kid was at least wearing pants at school today.
Nice.
But I think we've all had those moments. Brent, you've had them too, haven't you?
Oh, not to that extent, no.
Hey, help me out, lie, brother. Come on.
No, I lock the doors to make sure those kids don't get in.
I'm in their playroom. I took their room away.
Mark, we were talking. I saw you got your prizes in the other day. Tell everybody a little bit about what you started so we can and show us what we got.
Thank you for giving me the chance to mention this. We love our goats, and we call ourselves the Ryder Family Ranch. And as the shirt says, we're trying to make America goat again. And I just came up with this silly idea of when I'm out cleaning their pen or playing with the goats or whatever, I come up with all these creatively funny sayings that deserve to be on a t-shirt. And I'm like, why aren't some of these things on a t-shirt? And then so I decided, I'm like, I'm going to start my own clothing line. So we've gone ahead and done it. And so the Goat Life Clothing Company exists. We are online. You can find us at goatlifeclothing.com. And we've got everything from the mugs to the shirts to the tank tops to the baby onesies. You want to see your baby in a Make America Goat Again baby onesie, because that would be the cutest thing ever.
Oh, absolutely.
There you go, Brandon. Get yourself another baby, Brandon, and then you could get a onesie.
Yeah, Brent. Why you look? Nicole was already. Nicole.
I'm not it. No.
Well, you don't even mention babies, Nicole.
I have enough children. Thank you. I love them, but thank you, no.
You only have 22 kids, Nicole.
What's funny is that, like, you know, there's a group for everything on Facebook, you know.
Yeah, there is. There is.
You know, so I'm a member of a bunch of goat groups because you know, when we got into this, I really didn't know all of the things that I need to know about goating. It's stressful. And in so many ways, can I swear on this broadcast? Am I allowed to?
It's not my broadcast.
So many ways that you can F up a goat's life and not know it. You know, like, so thank God for these groups. And so the other day after we started the Goat Life clothing company, I had put a picture up of myself at like Tractor Supply or something like that. And it was so funny. I was just asking a question about, like, is it possible to get out of this place without dropping $200? And like within a couple hours, there was like 500 comments and everybody wanting to know where to get the t-shirt. And I was like, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. You know, that's the thing. Like, for people that have the common love of farm life, goat life, America, all that fun stuff. That's what this clothing line is all about and why we started it. And just to sort of have fun, you know, and offer something that, you know, you can't really get anywhere else.
No, and you can't. And the thing is you got to have fun doing it. And everything you do, you have fun doing.
Oh, hell's yeah.
And what you were talking about the goats, and she's probably watching right now. We had an issue this weekend with goats, and I've had cows that have gotten sick before, and a cow getting sick is one thing, but a goat, that is interesting.
What happened?
Do tell.
Yeah.
Parasites and explosive diarrhea.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was she eating your cooking or what?
I'm just glad Robert's not in here right now, because then I would really be catching it.
I don't think he heard you, Dusten.
I don't think so. Not at all.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh, but wait a minute. I do have something. Yeah, talking about my cooking. I'll be right back.
You gonna go get the box of Twinkies again?
This just took a turn.
Do they still make Twinkies?
Oh yeah.
Well, they never expire. So
Actually,
well,
my wife found a study. They said they tried to keep one for 8 years, and it went really bad. Like, it was beyond bad.
Okay.
They do expire.
And I got what, Mark, a year ago, about a year and a half ago, I had a mild heart attack. And to be funny, my brother and his business partner started laughing one day when I got home and had a box at my house from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
7.5 pounds of Twinkies. He said, if you're not going to listen to the doctor's orders, go ahead and finish yourself off. And I think, what was it, about 3 weeks ago, we had the last box, still had like 4 Twinkies in it here. Okay, just as you said that, I got to show you what I got in the mail the other day. I hadn't opened it yet. I'm not going to yet. It says, Jesus. It's a fire. It's a stove and a kitchen rag.
Well, you just killed the conversation there, Brandon.
what?
Jeez.
I got sent a kitchen towel that says, Jesus, another fire again. For you,
Lord, it's a
for
fire.
putting out fire. It's a fire blanket for a kitchen.
Oh, I thought it was a towel.
Well, a towel, whatever you want to call this thing. It's
Yeah,
fireproof.
Didn't your grill catch on fire last week in the live? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. don't burn
And
anything.
it wasn't my cooking. It was Robert was put the steaks on, and I was getting ready for the live, and all of a sudden I realized Robert's in here. I'm like, who's watching the steaks? And I go out there and it's just flaming. My side of the grill, my steaks on my side were well done.
Ugh.
Like as in, I could have used them for chocks under the wheels of the truck.
That is the only time that I will allow you to put ketchup on a steak.
Yeah.
I just told my son what you do, Mark. And he's just like, ooh.
He what?
I had to tell my son that's the guy that does the voiceover for football games or football stuff. And he's like, his bubble just popped. That kid loves him some football.
But yeah, it's it's funny. The simple things we take in life, the simple mistakes, let me rephrase that, always turn into so much fun. You ever notice that? I mean, it's just, we laugh about it. Dusten will tell you over the last 3 years, Dusten and I have had some really unique conversations on lives. And luckily, Daryl K is not here tonight, or we would really be in trouble. Daryl is spraying cotton right now, or we would be in trouble. We have tended to get lives have tended to go totally off the deep end, and we're done. It just, there's no recovery after that point. But getting back to, what is the favorite voiceover you've ever done?
Wow, that's a tough one. That's like asking me to name my favorite kid, Emerson. Favorite voiceover that I've ever done. So a couple of years ago, so I really like, it's a tough question to ask because there's so many different things in the voiceover industry, right? Like I narrate TV shows, I do promos for TV, I do radio commercials. And then sometimes I get the honor of doing like live stuff, right? And I really like doing live shows. A couple of years ago, I got to be the voice for the Comedy Central roast of Alec Baldwin. That was pretty freaking cool. Was good. You got the tuxedo on and the red carpet and the people and live from Hollywood, and that's pretty cool. So it's hard to name a favorite, but I can tell you that there's certain moments, like every little voiceover guy wants to do a movie trailer. And because movie trailers are like the upper echelon of this industry. And so a couple of years ago, I finally booked my very first one. And it was for a horror movie around Halloween time called Hellfest. I'm sure nobody on this panel has seen that movie because I'm pretty sure only 6 people saw the movie. But that was a big deal for me because I finally got a movie trailer, right? So yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite because there's so many different things that we do. Like when I first started in the industry, I actually narrated a couple of adult books, and I didn't know what I was getting into when I signed on the dotted line to do this, and I had no idea how graphic a female writer could be. Because, I mean, I'm a guy, so like I should be able to handle this stuff, but I'm sitting there going,
you didn't know there's that many adjectives for things like
right. It shouldn't take that long to describe what's going on between those two right now. So, needless to say, when I got done doing said audiobook, I politely asked them to not use my name. And I will not tell you the name of that title.
Nicole's gonna go to the library tonight.
Oh man, now we gotta listen to them all until we can find it. Hey, if any of our viewers have listened to said book, please comment in the video.
Well, Kelly's working in the cotton field tonight, so it won't be her.
Kelly does not need to listen to said book. Neither does Tiffany.
I'm just waiting for Kelly to come back with something that when she hears us later on.
We can assign this to Tiffany as her personal farm life goal is to find this book.
Tiffany has
yes, sir.
But Tiffany would take that job with a whole lot of pride if she figured it out too.
She would. She's so proud of herself.
And the bad thing is Tiffany's on bed rest, so we could be in a lot of trouble because Tiffany has a lot of time on her hands right now.
That's not
Is
good.
she supposed to be healing or something?
No. But Tiffany's got she'll be for a few more months. She'll be on bed rest.
Okay.
At least until January or March.
A bored Tiffany is a dangerous Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tiffany, I would highly suggest you jumping on Netflix and watching like Longmire or something like that before searching for my dumb audiobook.
Wow.
Now, what is one that surprised you? One that you did that you didn't think that just absolutely totally surprised you?
Very recently, I did a commercial for Arm & Hammer Absorbex, which is like cat litter stuff. And the direction was they wanted me to sound like Matthew McConaughey as a cat. So if you've seen the commercial on TV Run, this cat walks.
I've seen it.
This cat walks through the bar, the doors of a saloon. The doors open up and he walks in and he goes, "Ooh, wee! This place smells fantastic." And then he goes into this dialogue with the bad cat, you dressed in black, with the real deep voice, Sam Elliott, right? And so what surprised me about that was because I auditioned for both parts. I auditioned for the deeper, rougher Sam Elliott one, and I just threw the Matthew McConaughey direction audition in, like, I'm not going to book that. And then I booked it. And I was like, holy shit, I better figure out how Matthew McConaughey really talks.
All right.
You have no idea how many times I sat there before I did the line and was like, all right.
Now, real quick, Brent, what you got going the rest of this week?
Yeah, man, busy week here. We did I already had this is my third live stream of the week here. We had Dusten Collins on for the Monday night live stream. He has that new single out, Stand for the Flag. It came out Tuesday. So we had that on. Then Ashley Amber, rising country star, on yesterday. Then here today. That's it for the lives this week. And episode 77 of the podcast comes out on Friday. We talked a little bit about this last week, but Dairy Management Inc. Doing the dairy promotion through Minecraft, and now getting involved with Madden and in NFL Play 60 to do dairy marketing through video games, and trying to reach and indoctrinate that audience at that Gen Z level. So we got that on there this week. Also, researchers at Kansas State University have come up with a way to do some facial recognition for cattle on a cell phone.
What?
Yeah. So you basically what you do is you put the cell phone camera in front of the animal. When the app tells you that the conditions are right, it snaps a series of pictures, and then it puts a GPS stamp on each one, and it automatically uploads it to the cloud. And facial recognition for cattle.
What is the purpose of that? To track, like, for dairy cattle, or is it more for when you upload 1 million animal selfies like my husband and you just want your cow tagged in all of them.
You could maybe do that too. They're looking to commercialize this, and I'm sure they got a grant somewhere along the way to go study this. So we got a bit of that on there. Also, the folks
are actually going to use it for a new cow dating website called moo.com.
Yeah.
Pornhub.
I'll get back to you on that one. We got
Maybe they'll have their own special tab on Farmers Only.
Yeah. Then we got our friends from Kloss on there that they've expanded their hay and forage tool lines. They've got some new forage harvester stuff and disco rear mowers. So we've got them on there. And I bring my buddy Terry Burkhart with All States Ag Parts up there in Iowa. And aptly for the folks up there in Dusten's neck of the woods that saw their first snow here this week, talking about winterizing your tractor. So timely topic for him. I didn't want to gloat today when I talked to him and tell him it was 83 degrees down here, but
that's tomorrow for us. So.
Yeah, so that's the big stuff this week here. Mira Godo is the guest, the musical artist this week on the show. And more live streams coming up next week. John Mullins, who's another up-and-coming star out of Nashville, is going to be on there. And another ag live stream next Thursday night. It was supposed to be tomorrow night, but they had to push it back. Kurt Coffey, who's the head of global marketing communications for Case IH, is going to be on there talking about the future of ag innovation and where Case IH fits into that whole puzzle. So hope people will stop by for that. It's kind of funny, we're talking about the future of ag innovation and technology and all this. He also helps out on his family's farm, and we had to push the live stream back a week because they were worried about an unstable internet connection there. So that's still the reality in many parts in rural America. So we had to shove that one off a week, but.
That's always fun when you back them up a little bit. Dusten?
Yep.
Where are you at this week? What you got cooking?
Oh, let's see. This week, of course, we have our weekend ag program coming up in podcast. That'll come up on Saturday morning. I will be visiting my monthly chat with the Iowa Secretary of Agriculture as we've gotten updates on acreage damaged by the derecho. Some guys thought they were going to get in there and do some stuff with it, but needless to say, they're going to be zeroing out more acres. They have a feeling as these combines are really having a tough time getting through some of these fields. And talking a little bit about that, talking about some programs we've had going on in Iowa, trying to get more beef and pork and turkey to the food banks, especially during this pandemic time, and the organizations that have been really working on that. In fact, we're going to be doing some of those food box distributions in Southwest Iowa coming up on Friday. One of our reporters will be going out there to cover that event. We're also been talking conservation a lot this week, talking about the nutrient reduction strategy in Iowa, what they're trying to do to help improve water quality and what the farmers are doing. We talked about the growth of that this week. That was quite a bit of fun. But right now, again, coming up this weekend, talking about that, like I said, the derecho damage and the updates there. Also, going to be continuing our coverage tomorrow with the Iowa pork producers as we celebrate October Pork Month. We're going to be talking about the best breaded pork tenderloin in Iowa and what it takes to win that title in Iowa. It's not just it's not just a matter of putting a manhole cover size pork tenderloin on a bun. There's a lot that goes into it for the pork producers to give you that title. And we're going to hear about the cafe up by Cedar Rapids that won that title. We're going to be talking about that coming up tomorrow, some light stuff. We're going to have our Corn Grower Minute again coming up on Friday with the Iowa Corn Growers Association. And then next week, just going to come out swinging and see what we're up against. Of course, we'll probably be having our weekly chats with both Senators Grassley and Ernst coming up as well and see what's going on there. Of course, gearing up for election time, it's going to be some interesting topics and might be talking about how that election after the fact will have an effect on agriculture, of course, depending on which way it goes and how it goes, not only at the national level, but also the state level and local levels as well. So we're getting geared up for that. We're going to wrap up our Iowa candidate interviews as well. We talked to all the candidates running for House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate on Zoom or live in our studio, and we asked them all the same 4 ag questions, about hard-hitting issues in agriculture today. And so our last one will be going up here this week. So I'll be looking for that on our website, also at iowaagnet.com. But yeah, that's what we've got going on kind of this week, kind of wrapping up a busy week without having a whole lot to do. And Anna will be getting also one thing. Anna will be posting her field visit video that she did the day the snows came on Monday. She was going up to the cornfield to talk with a farmer about how harvest was progressing, and the snow squall let loose. So they had to kind of run loose for the old chicken coop to do the interview in there. But yeah, it was an interesting day. We had 1.5 inches or 2 inches on Sunday and 5.5 inches on Monday. Kids built 6-foot-high snowmen that are already gone, and we're going to be close to 80 tomorrow. So
incredibly difficult to run a combine through that derecho ravaged corn.
Even the drought.
Could you imagine trying to run a combine through corn? That corn laid down with snow on it.
Yeah, on top of the wind we've been getting too. I did get a crop update though too from someone who just really had drought damage. And he said he'll be lucky to pull 120 bushels per acre this year. Wow. And I'm afraid that's what I think Iowa's going to be dealing a lot with. The beans have come through better than they thought, but corn, some places are pleasantly surprised. Some places are just counting their blessings they even get a crop in. So
now, where are we looking at? What's the latest?
Just a quick question. Did anyone else completely tune out for about 30 seconds after he mentioned the breaded pork tenderloin?
I'm pretty hungry.
I feel bad. I missed about 30 seconds of what you said because I was literally seeing myself eating it.
Well, let me tell you what we did the first year Dusten and I did lives. One of the first years. We did the food of the Iowa State Fair.
Nice.
But you couldn't get me to eat a corn dog.
No.
Well, Nicole, I don't think you've even heard that story, but there's a reason you'll never see me eat a corn dog.
I have not heard that story, but I can't say this on the live.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can.
Never eat a corn dog. I
will. Nicole, you tell the story. I will finally tell everybody but Brandon, because Brandon already knows why I will not eat a corn dog.
Well, see, I don't want to say this because I know Brandon will not let me live it down, but I can't eat anything on a stick because I can't handle anything wood in my mouth. Popsicle sticks, suckers, anything on a stick. I have like a natural gag reflex. I can't eat anything that is wood. That is like on a wooden thing.
So how much wood are you eating? I mean, come on. You're supposed to take the food off the stick, not eat the stick too.
No, like if my tongue touches, like if I have a popsicle or like an ice cream sandwich or something and my tongue touches the wood stick in the middle, I like instantly gag. I can't do it.
So what do you do? How do you combat this? Do you have to like scrape it off before you
do
anything?
I don't even try. Like if I had some like shish kebab or something, I'll just completely remove the skewer before it even goes to my plate.
I mean, you can't get through summer without a popsicle. I mean, come on.
I do not eat suckers. I do not eat popsicles. I can't. When I go to the doctor and if you have like tonsillitis or strep throat or something, I'm like, can you just give me a shot? Like, can you just dose me up with something?
Heck
like
with the swab, just give me the shot.
That in my mouth, I'm like, I can't. I can't.
No, I'm totally with you on the doctor thing, Nicole. Like, I can't tell you how many times as a grown adult I've gone in with like a sore throat or whatever, and I'm like, Doc, heads up, if you can't see it without just your own eyes, don't even bother, because I'll kill you if you get near me with that stick.
I hate it. Why can't it be plastic? Plastic doesn't have a taste. Wood is like metallic. It tastes metallic.
No, it's more the texture, isn't it? The graininess of it.
Maybe try a maple or a walnut instead of a pine or a balsa.
Balsa. There you go, like an old glider.
Like a sweet gum.
Yeah, I can't.
Now, Dustin, go ahead.
All right. I used to
Nicole-
love corn dogs as a kid. Loved them. We'd go to the state fair and get the foot-long corn dogs. Absolutely loved them. And everything about them. School lunches. My son eats them like crazy. Well, growing up on the farm, we had the hog barns where we had the barns inside. The hogs would go inside or go outside of the concrete floor and go out there and get some air and run around a little bit. And every other weekend we would have to take the loader bucket and lock the pigs in the barn and clean the outside floors off. It's just part of the nature of farming. You have livestock, you clean the mess. And we had a couple days prior to that a very heavy, probably several days of heavy rain. And so we had to get the water off of it. And my dad loads up the loader bucket with this stuff and he goes, "Go get your hot dog, son. We got corn dog batter for the state fair." After that, can't eat it. Can't eat a corn dog. Can't even look at the batter. I'm like, nope, I'm done.
And it's like that too.
Oh, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. I know.
There's no mistaking. That's what it looks like.
Now, talking about doctors, Nicole knows this. Of all the health issues I've had the last year, I have one of the best surgeons that has dealt with me in the country. Unfortunately, both of my doctors' families farm and are on farm life. So when I call and say, well, I've got this problem, this is what it's doing, I'm feeling this way, he will look at me and say, I saw what you did on Farm Life. I literally, if I pull up my medical records and they're online, I can pull them up. When I rip the stitches open after my surgery, it is listed as dumbass on my medical records.
I hate to tell you, it was on there before Farm Life.
It is.
And they,
you think you had it bad, Brandon? My former boss at the radio station in Minnesota was married to my doctor, so I couldn't come back and say, "Hey, the doctor says I can't talk for a week." In fact, there was one time I had bad laryngitis. He told me not to talk for a week. She called him to verify that I wasn't filling her full of crap. And thank God, bless him, he said, "I can't discuss a patient's medical conditions with you. You're not the patient."
Oh, well, yeah, it's amazing because I'll get a text message. The nurse watches what I do also, and I'll get a message every so often. Did you really need to do that today? Or do not call and ask for help because you did this. Self-inflicted pain is your own fault.
It is.
So now, Mark, again, because we're almost out of time for the night. Tell everybody about Goat Life information, where they can get the shirts, how they can get the coffee mugs, and where we can get stuff from.
Thank you. It's goatlifeclothing.com. It's completely secure. You can pay with PayPal. You can pay with a credit card or whatever. Just all kinds of fun stuff. There's blankets and towels and all that kind of stuff. And right now, everything says "Make America Goat Again" because that's our initial product line that's coming out. But there's going to be a ton more in the near future. So if this isn't your jam, come back in a month and there'll be a whole bunch of other stuff on there. So goatlifeclothing.com. Thank you.
Okay.
And Mark, one more thing before you leave. We were talking about your goats earlier, and I was looked forever for this meme on Farm Life and I couldn't find it. So I had to recreate it. But I was talking about how goats are a gateway animal where you buy a chicken and then you say no more chickens. And so then we buy a goat. Then we say no more goats. And then we buy all the animals. Little kids, I don't know if you've seen that movie before, but
oh Oh yeah.
I lost forever.
Between our dogs and our bird and our goats and our horses, I think we've maxed out our 4 acres. So unless I can pick up some more land, because people are like, you know what you need? You need an emu. And I'm like,
why not? Why not an emu? I mean,
They're pretty cool.
It's a logical jump from goat to emu. Really.
And they're pretty
Well,
cool.
you got a percher on. Like there's plenty of room.
Sure.
Emu, that's what you need. You need an ostrich.
Yeah, where's that ostrich racing?
No. An ostrich can literally slit you from your throat to your down there with one swipe.
An emu's not very far away though either. So
They've got
the retractable claw too.
I think I could take an emu.
Where, to the park?
What's funny is that my whole life I've had a rule about significant others and pets. Never own one that could kick your own ass. Right? So that's why my wife is 5'2" and weighs about 105. and that's why I like all of my dogs and stuff like that. I never go above 60 pounds because I think I can handle anything from about 65 and down, right?
And buy a 2,000-pound percher on.
But hey, you got to know, Mark, those 5'2s, they can fight dirty though if they have to.
Yeah, they can.
My mother is 5'2". I have been taller than her since the 4th grade, and I'm 6'1". And the story is, it was one day I was home from college and I was visiting her, and she said something to me. I was visiting her at her work, and she said something to me, and I just kind of stared down at her like, what? And she's like, don't make me kick your. And I said, I'll go get you a ladder. And with that, she reared up and slammed on my foot. And I went, ow, like that. And she grabbed my ear and she goes, see how quick I did that? And she's the one with the 140-pound Great Dane running around her farm right now.
Wow.
You know what would be cool to add to the Ryder Ranch?
What?
A camel.
You can have a camel dairy. You can milk the camel.
Hey, you could start a camel dairy, Mark.
There you go.
You could have camel milk cheese.
There was a guy in southern Minnesota that had a giraffe.
No joke. My wife's favorite animal on earth is a giraffe. We actually have several figurines, around our house that are giraffes. And if we could, if it was legal in the state of Florida to own one, I'm sure she would lobby for that.
I'm gonna tell you what though. One of our customers has 2 giraffes, and the male giraffe, they have a male and a female for breeding, and the male has literally beat an adult man, 6'5" man, and put him in ICU with his head.
Wow.
Wouldn't doubt.
Well, yeah. Have you seen him on the Discovery Channel shows, take on a pack of wild lions and win?
Yeah.
They are still roaming the earth because they're wusses.
Right.
By the way, did y'all see the picture on Farm Life of the mule and the mountain lion the other day?
Yeah, I posted that.
Yeah. There was a husband and a wife that had pack mules and were riding, I believe it was Arizona. I may be wrong. And a mountain lion came out and approached their dogs. They got off of their mules to fire a shot to scare the mountain lion off because you're not allowed to shoot them because they're endangered. Well, the mule took care of the mountain lion. There's 4 or 5 pictures. And that mountain lion, I'm pretty sure, needed a very good vet after that incident.
It was dead. It killed it.
Yeah,
Did it kill it?
Yeah, and the funniest picture too is the 2 dogs. They're sitting there in the one picture because the mule is down on its knees, like making sure the lion is dead. And the 2 dogs, they just look super happy, and they're just standing 5 feet behind the mule, wow, look at that. That's kind of cool. And the mule had grabbed the cat by the tail and was swinging it around like a lasso just smashing his head on the rocks. And then it got on its knees and it was biting its neck and like trying it to the ground. It was crazy. But though, and I don't believe this happened recently. I think these were older photos. It's just kind of been circulating again. But holy cow, like it's crazy.
I didn't know the doors after that.
I've seen what donkeys do in a pasture, and I'd hate to know what a mule would do because a mule is bigger than a donkey.
Yeah.
I mean, look at alpacas and llamas; they'll kill wolves.
Yeah.
With no
they
problem.
will. Well, gang, it's been a great night. We're a little over time, but we've had a lot of fun and gone in a couple of directions that wasn't my fault for a change.
I was having fun just talking about what could kill what else. We keep that going all night.
I don't know. I kind of like Dusten's mom on Alive. I feel like she has some good stories.
What? My mom?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Do it.
No, because not because I'm afraid, because there's nothing that she's going to say that embarrasses or shocks me anymore. But the fact is that Facebook would shut this page down after a live with her on.
Well, gang, it's been a great night. Mark Ryder, thank you for joining us. We're glad you were here with us tonight.
Thank
Dusten
you.
Hoffman.
Had a fun time, you guys. Thank you.
Oh, it's been a blast.
It was awesome.
Dusten Hoffman with Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. It's been a pleasure as always, my brother. Brent Adams. Well, we're here. It's been a great week.
Yes,
You've
sir.
got some fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a pleasure with him too? Come on.
Oh, it's been awesome with Brent. Always, we have fun.
Said it was a pleasure with Mark, pleasure with Dusten. Brent, you're here.
Yeah, you're here. It's been good. Yeah.
God, tell us what you really think, Brandon.
I picked up on that too. I was just trying to play it off. So
it was awesome hanging out with you again, Brent.
Thank you.
Look,
I got your back, Jack.
Appreciate you.
We love you too, Dusten.
I wasn't worried about me.
Gang, you guys all have a great night. Everybody out there, it's been a rough year. 2020 has been an absolute miserable year. And I'm not going to say let's hope 2021 is better, because last year that bit Kelly and I in the rear end in a very big way. Let's just, people, we're all stressed as we come into the end of the year. And like Dusten and I have always said, you're going to see somebody at a store. All you got to do is say hi to people. If you see somebody they're not smiling, smile at them and say hi. Make a difference. I mean, it may very well make a difference in that person's life for that day.
And 2020, this year is going to be the year that reminds us all to remember and count the blessings that we do have in our lives every single day.
Oh, absolutely. And after some things I've had to deal with this week, remember that life can change in a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm. As Nicole smirking. Story for after the live.
Sorry, Brandon. That was so heartfelt and like sincere. And my mom's over here whispering in the background. They can't see you because you have a mask on. Mom, stop it.
Let's get Nicole's mom on.
Making me laugh.
Oh.
Well, gang, you guys all have a great night. Everybody out there, thank y'all for joining us tonight on all the groups that we were on tonight. You guys have a great week. Let's finish up harvest. Kelly and Matt started cotton this weekend. Daryl and the gang started today or tonight. Peanuts are going full stream. Soybeans and corn. Well, corn's about wrapped up, isn't it, Dusten?
We're just about done. They say 60%, but there's some guys that I think they're even further than that. Soybeans are 90% here in Iowa. And I would say, as long as it doesn't snow anymore, but the thing is now we've had rain on top of it, so it's not really drying too much, but we can get back out there. It won't take but a couple days to finish it up.
Brent, they're about done up in Kentucky, aren't they not?
Yeah, they're thrashing. We're pretty good ways. It's been really dry up here. We've had a little bit of rain the last couple of days, but it's really dry. It's supposed to be 85 tomorrow, so another band of rain coming in over the weekend. So I think they'll really be trying to get everything knocked out here over the next 36 hours or so. So making a lot of progress.
Yeah, everybody's starting to wrap it up around the country, and then we go into the planning mode for next year. Well, on behalf of myself, Concept Agritech, Fastline Fast Track, and Gateway Seed, we hope you guys all have a great night. Be safe out there, and we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Well, I think we'll all be here. Have a great night. See y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.